Okay, let's try to continue then. Sorry. I hope it made sense. Let's do another example or a second example so that we can see what we're going to do. All right. Let's use the very same digits. Okay. Now they ask us for how many arrangements can be made for the pin if repetition is allowed. On the previous video we were actually determining the arrangements for, if the repetition is not allowed, but yet the repetition is allowed, meaning that I can actually I can choose any number and I can repeat it again without actually taking out and not replacing it. I hope it makes sense. So how many digits do I have now to make the arrangements or to make my pins? I have 7 of them. I hope it makes sense. I have 7. But now they say that repetition is allowed. So what does that mean? It means that if I choose one number, I can be able to choose it again. Why? Because they said repetition is allowed. When they say repetition is not allowed, I take it out. So I have 7 options that I can actually, or 7 numbers that I can actually choose from. I hope it makes sense. Then let's say I choose 5. When I choose 5, how many of the digits that I can actually use to make a pin? I can actually have 7 again. Why? Because I can still do what? Choose that number if I want. Why? Because repetition is allowed. So in all of these spots, I'm going to have 7. Why? Because repetition is allowed. I'm not taking out the digits that I'm actually choosing after making the pin. So repetition is allowed. I hope it makes sense. So the meaning of this thing, it means that when I choose a number, I'm not restricted not to choose it again. Why? Because they said repetition is allowed. I can choose it, meaning if I chose it, it means that I'm going to have 7 again. I hope it makes sense. So the answer is going to be 7 to the power 7. Then you write your answer. So that answer will be the number of the arrangements can be made for the pin if repetition is allowed. Then you write that answer, then arrangements. I hope it makes sense. So you're not going to use a factorial here. Why? Because you use factorial when repetition is not allowed. Remember, it will be 7 times 3, 7 times 6, 7 times 5, 7 times, it will be 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. You want to use it here. Why? Because repetition is allowed. So this is what you do. So you write your answer, then you write arrangements. Let's say the answer is 100. You won't just say 100. It will be 100 arrangements. I'm not saying 7 to the power 7 is 100, but I hope you understand what I was saying.